much reference here. Pull up the Google. Are you interested in humans, animals, inanimate objects? It helps to have something that you're interested in what you're learning how to draw. All of it. Alright, well, let's see. I think I was telling you an example with a candlestick at one point. So let's just look up a simple candlestick. Alright. Let's go with... See, that guy is kind of hard to see. Let's see. I think I said simple candlestick, huh? Let's see here. This one isn't too bad. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and save this image. We got it on the desktop. Put the Google down. There's our candlestick. Alright, so it's always good to have some sort of reference hanging about, because I don't know about you, but sometimes my brain just, it doesn't get it right. So I'm one of those ones who's big on references for things. We're gonna start out with the candlestick. Let's see. I draw on the side of the screen a lot, so we're gonna go ahead and put the candlestick over there. Ah! And my program's not gonna agree with me. I wanna go across the whole screen. Alright. So let me put my monitor down now that I'm not using my keyboard. And what I'm gonna do is basically use my airbrush tool over here like a pencil, because it's the best for that, and you can still kind of see what's going on. Alright, let's see if it's big enough to see. Alright. So for the candlestick, what you want to do is start out with the simplest shapes that you can. So the first simple shape is basically, for this, is a rectangle. So draw ourselves a rectangle here, because that's kind of the space in which it's held in. So you know where to go, because sometimes you just need your boundaries. Art is all about getting out of those boundaries, but sometimes you need them to start out. So in this case, this candlestick looks like the bottom is just a bit bigger than the top. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and extend this bottom out a little bit. Like so. Okay, so now we have kind of the general shape of our candlestick. Go ahead and erase some of this stuff here. So one of the big things is you want to draw lightly. I have it a little bit darker so that I can make sure that everybody can see what's going on, because sometimes on the Twitch it it doesn't show up very well, so I might be lightening this up in a little bit. Alright, so now that we have that, we've got quite a few simple shapes in here. So what we want to do is actually start out with some of those, or maybe we can put, so we've got the outside boundary here. You have to excuse me, I'm still a bit drugged from my migraine meds. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and define the first and most important simple shape, which is the actual structure and the thing that holds up the actual candlestick. So we want to make sure that we've got that in there, because that's what everything basically is attached to, and everything that you see in the world has at least that one basic structure that holds up everything else. So we're gonna go ahead and drop in basically the trunk of the candlestick. There we go. So it looks really funny right now, but I promise it will get better. Alright, so we got the trunk of the candlestick. Now we're going to work on some of the basic shapes. So the basic shape of the bottom part kind of is just a half circle. We're going to go ahead and put a half circle down here. Alright, and then we've got kind of, so saying basics, we want to exclude this sort of thing at the moment. So we really just want to make this kind of, this shape here. Keep with the straight edges, you just want the basics. You don't want anything too fancy yet. Okay. So we got that shape in there. Now we got kind of an oval a little further down here. So get an oval about there. And then as we go a little bit further down, we got kind of a sideways little oval. Let me go ahead and put that in here. Sideways little oval. I think the bottom of this is just a bit bigger than when I have it, so don't be afraid to adjust things. Here, and then we got kind of another little oval-y thing right here. So now what we've got is kind of the basic shapes of this candlestick. So what we're gonna do is, because it's just super messy now and I'm terrible with those kind of things, we're gonna go ahead and erase some of the structure that we've got here. Now, as you're drawing, there's always a stage where the thing just looks funky. Don't get discouraged by the funky stage. It just means that you're doing something right here. So we're going to go ahead and erase some of this in here. Need a bigger eraser. Alright. So there are a lot of artists out there who say that if you erase, then you're a bad artist. And I think that that's a bunch of baloney, because frankly, you can do whatever you want with your artwork. And some of us like to go back to the basics, which involve this kind of skeletal structure kind of thing happening. And it kind of involves some erasing, which is okay. Alright, So we're starting to look a little more like a candlestick. Yay! So one of the important things is if you're doing this on a piece of paper, you want to make sure that you are drawing lightly. In this case, I didn't draw too lightly because I wanted to make sure everybody saw it, and since I'm on the digital pad, I can just kind of make this go down a little bit. The reason why you draw lightly is because when you do start taking away the pencil drawing of the stuff that you really don't want hanging around, if you draw too dark, then you're going to end up having that kind of as a ghost on your paper because you pushed too hard, and that always sucks. So always have an extraordinarily good eraser and draw lightly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start, I'm going to put this over here. Can't decide where I want my reference today. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start kind of defining things a little bit further with more simple shapes. And basically how this works is you just start getting, you just keep with as simple as you can get it until you get to the point where you've got a detailed item. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and define this top bit a little bit because it is a little bit of a different shape here. And so now we can take that shape that we did up here and just give it a little bit of shape. Okay. Now it's time to refine this one into a little bit better shape than it is. Give it its little curves here. And then there's not too much refining on this particular part of the shape, but we'll go ahead and start getting it, darken it with the rest of it. There. Now for this little oval shape, it's kind of got a fatter bottom than it does the top. So we'll go ahead and refine that a little bit further from the little oval that we made. See, so I made my candlestick a little long, but it's alright. So as we're refining some of these shapes, you gotta pay attention to some of the little curves and whatnot. It's my candlestick in my world, it can be a bit funky. Time for you to see the candlestick on migraine meds. Okay, let's see. Alright. Alright. So it's started to kind of turn into what looks like a candlestick on the side here. And again, still at this stage, you're drawing very lightly. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hide the sketch underneath because at this point I would have erased it. So when we go through, I'll show you the different stages of what was happening. We're going to go ahead and lighten this up a little bit. Alright. So Now we go in and we refine just a little bit more.